Maurizio Sarri offered this explanation after taking Ronaldo off in the 55th minute against AC Milan. Over the weekend, over the last month, he had this little knee problem. He had a knock in training and it hurt the collateral ligament. When he trains at high intensity or plays, it unbalances him, so he ends up overcompensating and it damages the calf and thigh muscles. Very scientific explanation there. A little bit different story than what we're getting from Ronaldo's teammate on the Portuguese national team, Gonçalo Paciência, who says, I don't have a medical degree, but he looked fine to me.
Where we pulled this quote from? I mean, seriously, what are we doing with this bloody quote? Joe Blogs, most people have never heard of, puts eyeballs in Ronaldo's knee when he walks through the door and passes back information to Turin that there's nothing wrong with them. Dear heavens.
Jules, we're laughing too hard in studio. Can you help us here with some perspective?
I mean, my only point is, if he has that injury at training, I don't know why, and I know Gab says he can play through the injury, through the pain, he can give you an hour. Don't play him at all. He's been rubbish for the last 4 weeks. There's not one game in the last 4 weeks where he's done something decent in a game. He took him off in the Champions League already, and Ronaldo was not happy, and after the game he said, yeah, he's got a little something there. And then he plays him again at the weekend in Serie A, and he's even worse than he was in midweek. And then he takes him off again. Don't play him at all. And don't play him at all. And if he has a niggle with his knee, then leave him at home for the 2 weeks. Don't send him with Portugal. He can miss a couple of meaningless friendlies that his team would win without him anyway. And then he's fitter for when Juventus go back after the international break.
Go ahead, Gab.
But they're not meaningless friendlies. They're qualifiers. Portugal hasn't qualified yet. Far more importantly, if I were unkind, I might point out, as you well know, Julien, he's looking to break Ali Dai's all-time international goal-scoring record
Come
as well.
on.
But you do make a good point about, why did Sarri play him? And I think we know the answer to that. A, medical science it's not exact, it's not black and white. B, Cristiano is one of those maniacal guys who thinks he knows his body better than anybody else, and probably does. And he obviously wanted to play. And C, I agree with you, he's been poor for the last month, but even when Ronaldo's poor, he can still strike a ball or win a penalty or whatever, as he did, for example, against Verona. So they still feel he makes a contribution. Let's see what Portugal does with him. What I can tell you is Juventus are watching this very, very carefully. They'll be liaising with the Portuguese medical staff, not including, of course, Dr. Gonçalo Paciência, who is most definitely, he's like that doctor from The Simpsons. And they'll be making sure that he's taken care of and that, they'll do their best not to aggravate the injury. This is not anything that anybody wants.
Shaka, if he is injured, should Juve be risking him?
No, they shouldn't. But as I said some time ago, I think this is on Ronaldo. Ronaldo says he thinks he can play and he wants to play. And I don't think Sarri has the status to tell him no. And what you're seeing is a less than 100% Ronaldo, struggling by his own standards, and a manager who, again, is not the one to tell Ronaldo otherwise.
When we can have a discussion about injuries and form and whatnot, that's fine. And, it does look as if, and we'd have to defer to Juventus and their medical team saying, well, he's been treated for some issues. But what we can't do, really, is bring up a quote from Joe Blogs, who just has eyeballed him.
Okay.
And that's all the credentials we need, that there's something going on here with Juventus that's conspiring against Ronaldo. Because when he walked into the hotel foyer, he was fine.
Okay. So Craig is now setting the journalistic standards for the show. No more Dr.
Well,
Paciência,
taking a dive in the last 3.5 minutes.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.